1 year ago, I would have told you that I thought bivvy bags were an awkward, cramped, stupid, and possibly boring way to get outside and see the great outdoors. 1 year later, would you believe it, just one of these rucksacks has two bivvy bags in, one of which is packed complete with a camping mat and sleeping bag ready rolled inside it for extreme rapid deployment, which is just one of the reasons that I'm here to say bivvy bags have now become, over the last 12 months, my most popular, most frequent, most beloved way to get outside and see the great outdoors. Let's talk about why in this no nonsense 1 year review of my general experience of bivvy bag camping. This is not intended as a review of the bags themselves, though I have spoken about these more in depth elsewhere. If you're curious, the hooped bag is an Alp Kit Elan, and the simpler one is a simple basic bivvy bag from Mountain Warehouse. Now, what I want to say first of all is we're going to start with a couple of positives, which of course is that rapid setup that I've just mentioned, and also the incredibly low profile nature of them, which makes them ideal for stealth camping and really for pitching up anywhere that you haven't got a huge amount of space. A point I just want to highlight here is when I mention space to set these up, I don't just mean floor space, I also mean the headroom, as I've actually set up the hooped bivvy in a woodland that even for the hooped bivvy there wasn't really enough room, but for a tent I simply wouldn't have been able to do it because there were all of these very, very low hanging branches that I was having to wind and weave my way through as I was trying to find any kind of area to pitch up any kind of shelter. Let's just think a little deeper about these two apparently simple face value positives about the extremely quick and easy setup and the very low profile, stealthy, small footprint pitch of one of these bivvies. And although that's true at the basic level, as you're seeing me pitch up just in a field for the sake of the camera here, it's not always the case, because part of the reason I have absolutely loved bivvy camping so much over the last 12 months is because very often I've paired them with tarps. And tarps are a completely separate category and separate series of pros and cons to discuss. To touch on this subject briefly, because it's also an excellent way for me to show you one of the real negatives of bivvy camping, or potential negatives, depending on your viewpoint, of course, is that although I have done plenty of bivvy and tarp camping, I have also done plenty of just bivvy camping over the last 12 months. And the real thing that I think the tarps make a difference with is any kind of adverse weather. And it's not even necessarily if it's going to be hammering down with rain or snow or anything like that. It's just being able to use a tarp as a windbreaker in the simplest possible form of shelter with a tarp to keep that draft off you when you're going about your general campsite duties. So, what I mean by that is, and this is one of the negatives, that the bivvy bags don't offer you any form of shelter when you're just milling around the campsite. If you want to sit up and, I don't know, get the pasta on the stove, for example, with a bivvy bag, obviously there's no form of shelter that's offering you. If you were just trying to sit down and organise your gear for the next day and get some dry socks out of a rucksack to go in your boots ready so you can make a quick start the following morning, you don't have a shelter to do that in with a bivvy bag. Whereas if you had a tent, for example, you could be in there with your rucksack sat upright with headspace above you so you're comfortable and completely out of the elements, encased and sheltered in a tent, and get all of your gear sorted that way. If you're taking a bivvy bag and no tarp, obviously you can't do anything like that with any form of shelter. And in fact, that was highlighted on this very day that I was filming these bits for this video, because it's rained every single day in Wales so far in 2026, and well, I thought this day was going to be different, but of course it started raining even on this day. And so I then had to just get my decent duck down sleeping bag straight out of the bivvy, shoved straight into a rucksack, because I couldn't just sit, say if I was in a tent, I couldn't just sit in that tent completely sealed from the weather and the rain and the elements outside and get it all nicely packed down and all sorted very, very civilly, in a civilized and calm manner. I was like, oh well, I've got a bivvy on the ground. It's raining directly on the bivvy and anything in it if I open that top up. So shove the duck down bag into the big rucksack and let's get out of here. Let's really dial into the benefits and drawbacks of this very small form factor. And firstly, for me personally, and how I like to go out camping, the extreme low profile to the ground of something like this is brilliant for stealth camping. And I'm not just talking even about stealth camping in the traditional sense of maybe trying to camp somewhere really close to civilization or just to try and be a little bit hidden away from footpaths and so on. I mean, even if you're out more generally wild camping in the great outdoors on a hillside, something that's this low to the ground and in these cases nice simple earthy colours as well is already a huge step towards not being an eyesore or a blot on the landscape that is drawing attention from people for goodness knows how far away in the distance. To go one step further in disappearing, you can pitch up next to a small bushy area or the undergrowth, or even drag yourself into the undergrowth, at which point you'll find the extreme low profile of these can lead you not even being above the undergrowth line. When I think of some of the hills around me and where I'm based in general, we have a lot of ferns grow up during the summer, a lot of long grass in some areas, and of course a lot of the hills have got heather on around this area. And if I was to pitch up amongst that, I would basically disappear from line of sight to many people in many places, even on the open hillsides. And if you wanted to go one further than that, you could add a bit of camouflage netting of an appropriate design, and my goodness, you might just become invisible even to yourself. This confidence in my ability to disappear when I'm asleep in a bivvy bag also led me to absolute disaster repeatedly over the first few months of me having the hooped bivvy bag, and that's because I knew that when I'd go to sleep, I would be invisible to anybody in the general vicinity. I was pitching up my bivvy in far too complacent a series of places, just a little bit too close to civilization and to where people might be walking out walking dogs in the evenings, for example. And so I was spotted on a number of occasions. And the reason that shows the positive and the negative of the small form factor is tying back to what I said about when you have a tarp, you've got shelter to be doing stuff. Whereas when I had just the bivvy, in the evenings when I was going to sleep, it was fine. I was invisible. I was sorted and pretty much safe for the night in most cases. However, while going around making my pasta and so on the camp before getting in the bivvy for the night, I was of course doing that far too close to civilization. When it comes to the experience of actually sleeping in something like one of these bivvies, I'll say it might not be to everybody's tastes, because you definitely sometimes feel very close to nature. If you're in a tent, then of course you'll be asleep on the ground in the great outdoors, but the sides of the tent, hopefully, aren't all pushed up or wrapped around you. Whereas you can see, obviously, the very nature of a bivvy bag is you are directly wrapped around by the bag, almost as if it's an extra waterproof layer on your sleeping bag, if you want to really boil it down to a very simple idea. But that means that it's, I don't know, it can feel claustrophobic. It can feel almost like you're really, really penned in. I will say the Mountain Warehouse very basic bivvy is very, very small, and I think now after using it extensively, I still like it. I'm very glad that I got it, but I will upgrade to a bigger, maybe a much bigger basic bag like the Alp Kit Hunker XL, for example. I will say that having the hoop on the Alpkit Elan bivvy is really, really nice, and I honestly think that it makes it a far more pleasant experience than the extremely rough and ready experience of getting in the Mountain Warehouse bivvy. And that's not to say that I don't like that experience and it's not fun to do, etc., etc. Although I do always make sure that I'm wearing a bug net over my head because, well, it does give me the creeps, the idea of sleeping with my face and my eyes and nose and ears exposed to the general creatures of the great outdoors. But when I'm in the Alpkit Elan, I'll say a couple of notes here. When I was using just the really simple, lightweight, feeble sleeping bags of the past, the Alpkit Elam felt absolutely giant. Whereas now I'm using the duck down sleeping bag, and very often two of my simple basic camping mats. Well, that's another thing I really want to upgrade to a much better single camping mat. It's definitely filling up the bivy bag a lot more and making it feel, I don't know if I'd say claustrophobic, but it definitely doesn't feel particularly like I want to do a lot of stuff in that bag that isn't going straight to sleep. Although I will say a benefit of it, because the bag is quite long, and with that hooped section, I am a short fellow, we'll say. I'm not a particularly tall fellow, maybe a better way to word it. So I can shimmy myself down so my feet are at the base of the bag, and then in that hooped section, I can fit a sensible sized rucksack, etc. But more importantly, my wonderful dog Gizmo can curl up and go to sleep amidst a load of blankets that I take out with me, or a towel, or just simply lying on my outstretched arm as he likes to do very often. And I'll be honest, being able to sleep in that bivy bag with a dog as well, and have the dog open or in the open space at the top, so I'm not worried about him suffocating down by my feet or anything silly like that in the bag. It's a really pleasant experience. Extremely close quarters living though, I will say that. And I also want to make it clear that as much as I love using these, there can definitely be an issue with condensation, as you would probably imagine with something like this. Now, that's not a universal problem. It hasn't happened all of the times, but you can imagine when I've been in there with the dog sleeping in the top section, even though the dog is next to the open vent area with the open space of the hooped area around him, it still can get very clammy, I suppose is the word in there, especially if he's been in the rivers or just in the wet grass and stuff like that beforehand. But ultimately, I'm not out here trying to have a five-star hotel experience. I'm trying to have a back to basics, enjoying nature, waking up in the great outdoors experience. And for that, I really cannot fault the bivy bag as an extremely simple and very often very lightweight and, well, just a very almost foolproof way to get into the great outdoors. Is it the most comfortable experience? Not always. Is it the most luxurious experience? Almost never. But is it a wonderful outdoors experience? Almost every single time. Thank you very much for watching, my friends. I'd like to say a huge thank you to my channel members, Facebook subscribers, and PayPal supporters, and so on. It really means a lot to me. I'd like to thank all of you just for spending your time watching this video. Please do consider becoming a member or a subscriber, and so on. And please do check the links in the description. I'll leave a link to some of the items you might have seen in this video down below. Those are Amazon associate links, and if you buy through those, I will get a commission. So it's a great way to support these videos if you're looking at getting something like this anyway. And I suppose until the next time, my friends, I'll simply say one final great big thank you, and of course, my usual sign off, which goes something like this. What a weird way to word it all. Thank you very much for watching, my friends. Until the next time, keep it bivvy wavy, keep it interesting, have a fantastic day, and of course, my friends, farewell.